Hi there, I'm Megan Shoop and I'm going to be teaching you how to make foil pack Italian sausage and veggies. It's a very easy recipe that can be made in about an hour with all the prep and cook time, and it's so delicious and is really good for meal prep, so come along. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to wash all of my produce that we're going to need for this recipe. So that's going to be a yellow onion, green bell pepper, a orange or yellow or red, we're gonna need 2 of those peppers, and then some baby red potatoes. So you don't need anything special when you're washing your produce, just some tap water. You don't need any fancy soaps or scrub. While the produce is drying off, I'm gonna do some other prep work for our recipe. So we are going to want to preheat our oven to 425. The next piece of prep work that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut our pieces of foil for our foil packs. You want to take about this much, that's about a little over a foot, and we're going to make as many for as many servings as we're gonna have. It's anywhere from 4 to 6, just depending on how big you want your servings to be. I think I'm going to go right in the middle and do 5. Well, that used just about all of my foil, but we have all of our sheets now, and right before I spoon on our meal, I'm going to spray them all with cooking spray so that nothing sticks on the inside. But we still have some more things to prep, so not yet. The next thing that we're gonna do is mix up all of our yummy seasonings. So this recipe calls for 1/2 tablespoon of dried oregano, dried basil, dried parsley, and onion powder, and it also calls for 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/8 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Here are our lovely seasonings. If you don't have time to make up your own seasoning or just don't want to, you can easily substitute this with a pre-made Italian seasoning, and it will be just as good. We're gonna move back to our produce and we're gonna start chopping that up. Okay, so I'm going to start with cutting up our bell peppers, and let me show you. So I'm gonna have a cutting board that I use just for fruits and vegetables, and I'm also going to use this kind of knife. It's gonna give me enough control to chop everything the way I want it to be chopped. Okay, so first I'm going to take my knife and chop off the top very carefully, like that. And as you can see, the little top separated very nicely from the stem, so we can actually use this piece as well. But for now, put it over there. So looking on the inside, I didn't quite get down enough, but that's okay. I'm going to take my knife and make a cut all the way around the outside of the pepper to get these insides out. So you just go around very gently and carefully. It's better if you stand it up like this so you can see what you're doing. And it might not be perfect, and that's okay. See, I just launched mine, but we're gonna take this part out and put it off to the side. So that's what the inside's going to look like. Let's see. Next, I'm going to slice it down the middle like that. And I like to get some of this white stuff out. It is not bad for you in any shape or form. It's probably very good for you, but I like to cut it out just a little bit, not all of it. We're not gonna get it all, and that's okay. Just like that. So I'll repeat that on the other one. Once I have our 2 cleaned out halves, I'm just going to cut them into long strips, lengthwise, and just gonna be very careful. You can make them as big or as small as you want. I'm gonna err on the side of small, just so that they're easier for me to eat. But you can do whatever you want. And there's no perfect way to do this, so just do your best. And be very careful when you get down here to the last one so that you don't chop off any fingers. So this is what my peppers look like now, all chopped up. I am going to go cut up the rest of these 2 peppers the same way, and then we'll be ready for our next thing. All of our peppers are chopped up, and now it's time to move on to the onion. So the first thing that you want to do with your onion is get to a peeling, and the peeling part is kind of tedious, but you just kind of look for where the skin is coming up and just get that papery layer off, and that will make it so much easier when you're cutting and so much better when we eat it. Okay, so our onion is all peeled, and now I'm going to show you how I'm gonna chop it up. We're gonna cut off this part, this top right here, very, very carefully because it's tricky, because it's so round. But we're gonna cut off the top, and we're gonna cut off this end as well. Again, very, very carefully. Don't wanna lose any fingers, just like that. And then we're gonna, ooh, don't start crying. We're gonna chop it in half down the middle. So we have 2 halves of our onion. And then it's good to just go like this down the line. And then when you have your strips, to turn it the other way and chop it that way. I have about 6 potatoes here, and I'm just going to quarter them up. Very easy. Just take them in half and cut each of those halves in half. And we want to keep them nice and big so that when they are cooking in the oven in the foil, they don't get too small and shriveled up. So I actually ended up using only 5 potatoes to get my 2 cups. It's just going to depend on how big your potatoes are. But here we go, we have everything in our bowl, and now we're gonna prep our meat. So I have picked up some turkey smoked sausage, and this is just a little bit healthier than beef sausage. You can also use chicken sausage, but we're trying to keep it a little healthier. So I'm going to grab just a middle-sized knife that I can chop this very easily with. And I have a new cutting board. You wanna get a new cutting board. I like to use this one for all my raw meats / meats in general, because I don't know, it feels better. We want to be safe here. So we're going to open this up and cut it into 1/2 inch size coins. You can just eyeball it. Okay, so our sausage is all chopped up and put into our bowl with everything else. And now we're going to add some olive oil, 4.5 tablespoons. We're gonna add some garlic, and then we're gonna add our seasonings, and we're gonna toss it all together. Now that everything is pretty well mixed up, I'm going to go ahead and put some cooking spray on my foil and spoon on a portion of our mixture, and we're gonna roll it up. And put all of my little packets onto a big sheet pan so that it's easier for me to take them in and out of the oven. You totally don't have to do this if you don't want to use your sheet pan or get it dirty or whatever, but I'm gonna do that so it's easier. So we're gonna put these into the oven for 30 to 35 minutes. I'm going to check mine after 30 just to see how they're doing. If the vegetables aren't tender, we'll just put them back in for a little while. So the timer has gone off. It has been 30 minutes and it's smelling fabulous in here, but I'm going to pull out the tray and open up one of the packets and see if everything looks cooked and tender, and I'll be back. So here is one of the packets open. Everything looks very tender to me, and our sausage does look nice and warmed up and cooked, and the potatoes are soft as well. So I think it's time to eat. So I just left my foil on my plate. I'm actually gonna eat out of it because why not? But I'm going to top it with some Parmesan. Feel free to do some grated Parmesan if you're fancy. This is what I had. And I'm also going to eat mine with some bread. Thank you so much for joining me on my recipe demo. I hope y'all give this recipe a try. It's very easy, and I have 4 more servings now for dinner or lunch, or my friends, my roommate, anyone. And I think y'all should all give this recipe a try. It's healthy. It's got potatoes, peppers, onions. We got that healthy turkey sausage, and most of all, it's delicious. So thank you all so much for watching.